If you enjoy our original content, please consider becoming a supporter on Anchor so that we can continue to bring you laughs every week.
The following program may contain immature situations, themes, and is intended for an adult audience. The opinions expressed here do not necessarily reflect the views of everyone else working on the show. Viewer discretion is advised. Guys, welcome to the Danny McDermott Show. I hope everything's going well. Kevin, how are you, buddy?
I am great and looking forward to tonight's show, Danny. Should be a great time.
Me too. I was in the bathroom like 2 seconds ago, and so I didn't connect I'm connecting my Bluetooth earphones right now. There we go. Now we're all set.
All right.
Hi, Diane. How are you? We got people commenting already. So I'm very excited about the show tonight. We've got two guests that I've known very well for a very long time. I highly respect both of them as comedians, as artists. But before we get into that, let's talk about what this day represents. For those of you who don't watch the show or just watching the show for the first time, we do a little research and we find out what is this day about. So today is Administrative Professionals Day, or Executive Admins Day, or Secretary's Day. It varies apparently. It's undergoing a name change, and you know what? It doesn't feel final. So let's just nod and shrug. Unless you employ them, then you give them a bonus check and a few kind words. You miserable fuck. That's for all the bosses out there. Because I'm so glad I don't have a boss anymore. Kindergarten Day. It's also Kindergarten Day. What makes me really mad about this is how is it possible we celebrate Kindergarten Day and I did not get a nap, recess, or highly discounted milk and cookies? That's what I want to know, Kevin.
And if that's not what kindergarten is about, I don't know what the hell it is.
I mean, really, that's I've wanted to live in kindergarten for the rest of my life, to be honest with you.
Those are four
Wouldn't
good
that be
things.
a great life?
It really would. Sorry, Tim.
When
We can't talk now. There's a line for chocolate milk. I got to go.
Remember when you're kindergarten, you're like, this sucks. Now you're like, I wish I could live in kindergarten again.
Nap time. I am fucking in.
Right? So let's see. National Chocolate Covered Cashews Day, which we've talked about this before. Every day has some kind of a chocolate theme. There's always a chocolate day, no matter what day you pick. There should be actually 365 days of chocolate holidays calendar, to be honest with you.
There definitely should.
Right? I mean, I could live with that. Wednesday, so it's the April 21st, National Yellow Bat Day. What is that? Yellow? Why yellow? Why?
Apparently,
I mean, are we talking about the bats that fly, or are we talking about? We're talking about baseball bats.
I have no idea who sat there and said, you know what we're not doing enough for? Yellow bats.
Right? To me, it sounds like a green light to hit people with an old-fashioned Louisville Slugger wood bat. That's, you know what I mean? Like, just, hey, it's National Bat Day, asshole. So let's see. Okay, so wait, we got more information here on this. Just entered into the system. On this day in 1967, the Army activated the 265th Army Security Agency Company Airborne with the 101st Airborne Division of Fort Campbell, Kentucky. The official insignia of the 265th is a bat with outstretched wings on a full moon rising with a motto, "Through the night below."
I don't know. I think I just want to paint a metal
I
bat.
just want to hit people with a yellow bat.
And just give them a nice couple of whacks to wake them up.
You know, for some people, I'd be willing to paint a metal bat yellow.
Yes.
Just to, you know. All right, what else? Bulldogs are beautiful day, which is a lie. I mean, they're cute, but they're not beautiful. They're not. You put a wig on a bulldog, they're not going to win a beauty contest. I love surprising you, Kevin, and making you laugh. That's great.
Put a little drool cup underneath their chin, and maybe we'll let them in the house.
Just imagine the song, you know, Miss Beautiful Bulldog Day. I don't know. I can't think of the Miss America song, but anyway, International Hemp Day, which assumes you're out of THC.
Okay, so yesterday was Earth Day, or 420, the national holiday of cannabis, and
right.
Okay, so hemp.
Exactly. Hemp is the next day. It's because you couldn't. You know, honestly, I think a real pot smoker celebrates 420 twice a day. Right?
Before 9 o'clock.
Well, no, 420 in the morning, 420 in the afternoon.
I think they go by the "it's always 420 somewhere" approach.
Right. Also, National Pet CBD Day. Who comes up with these things, Kevin?
Probably a beautiful bulldog.
That also assumes you're out of THC. By the way, they have Dope Dog. Have you ever heard of that? Where you can get your dog. Yeah, you give them biscuits and it gets them high. And my friend Tatiana has a cutest little dog, right? He is a sweet little dog. He loves me. He's good with me, but strangers, he will bite the shit out of them. And I said, just give him some Dope Dog. You know what I mean? Calm him down. He'd be like, you know, I'd like to bite him, but I'd rather have a sandwich. It's also here. Okay, now this is hilarious that it happens to be these holidays, but it's also National Surprise Drug Test Day. I can't imagine many people would be happy to celebrate that.
or for that matter, surprised about a day you announce years in advance. Is this sneaking up on people?
It's like, oh my God, I forgot. Damn it. Pee in this cup for me. Oh my God. All right. So, and that also assumes you're out of THC. What else? Queen's birthday. This is the Queen's birthday. I'm assuming England.
Yes. Yes, it is.
She's newly single, folks. Huh? You got a shot. I think you got a shot. I mean, can't be that picky. And I'm assuming she's out of THC too.
Well, you know, how old was her husband? Was he like 90 something?
99, I think he was.
99. So no.
Yeah.
I cannot date the Queen because I cannot disappoint a woman who's rebounding from a 99-year-old.
I don't think you could disappoint a woman who just lost a 99-year-old husband.
I'm not sure she can see you.
I mean, I think you'd use a lot. He'd need a lot of Viagra for you to be disappointed.
You never know.
for you to be disappointing. Anyway. All right, that's enough crazy stuff. This is a good show. I'm very excited. I want to get the guests on right away. This next guy, I met him at Caroline's Comedy Club when we were both beginning comics, and he's just amazingly talented at impressions. So let's see the banner here, and we're going to explain. He is a cast member of Comedy Central's The Nightly Show, which, that's those, come on, Comedy Central, those shows are huge. He's appeared on Gotham Live, The View on ABC, which I've been on. I guess hosted that mofo. And Murphy Brown on CBS, the new Murphy Brown show, and was at Coachella in 2019. Please welcome Bob DiBuono.
Man, how you doing?
All right.
How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. This is
no problem.
I love your show already.
Well, we make you look good, don't we? We do, right?
I know they don't. Your viewers don't know that I'm really Asian, but apparently you did something to my face. So,
and now
I think that might be some kind of drinking problem.
Yeah.
No, you don't drink. You stopped drinking many years ago.
I've never drank. Isn't that funny? And I remember.
What? Wait a minute.
Yeah. Me and
Dan were in
the bar one night. I never forget. You and I went out after at one night after like Caroline's, and you're like, "Hey, you want to go get a drink? And let's go out to a bar." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And I love hanging out. And then you were so shocked that I didn't drink, and I was like, and I was like, "Yeah, I don't drink." And he's like, "But I don't get it. Why? I don't get it. Why don't you not drink?" And I was like, I don't know. My mom is in recovery. I'm afraid. I'm afraid to drink because I know I'm a very obsessive personality. I'll probably love it, and then I'll never stop. And if you see me, you'd be like, I can't believe you don't drink, bro.
Yeah, I'm thinking,
how did you become a full-blown alcoholic? It's because Danny McDermott's fault.
Well, wait.
Peer
Hold
pressure.
on. The reason I couldn't believe it, right, is because you were so boisterous and outgoing and insane. Yeah. You were so hilarious that I just couldn't believe. How did you get that naturally?
It's called a desire for attention, right? We're all broken toys comedians. You know that, right?
Oh yeah.
Why do we need strangers every night to clap and validate and make us feel whole? There's something clearly very intrinsically wrong with that, but we do what we do, right? So
well, it's funny. I was just thinking about a friend of mine was pushing me to write out my goals and stuff like that. And what drives you? What are your passions? And I realized nothing drives me unless I'm in front of an audience.
Yeah. Absolutely. I remember Danny, for the viewers out there, me and Danny started a room, the Underground Lounge in New York City. And I want to say we're talking like 2000, right? Like, I don't know.
Let's not age me, Bob.
Huh? I'm just saying this is how we were very young, but we were just new. I don't know.
Yeah.
We were doing the Underground Lounge, and it was and you would be out there flyering for your own show, and I would come with a couple of my other dopey friends, and we'd all be handing out flyers for like an hour and a half before the show to go on in front of whatever people we could go in there, just so we could entertain them. Think about that. That is commitment. You're outside handing someone something that you printed out with your face on it. Come to our show, giving deals, constantly negotiating. 2 for 1. We'll let you in for half price, just to get people in so they'd sit down, have a drink, and listen to us tell jokes about our family.
Well, it's true. It's true. I mean, the thing was, the reason I started doing that was because, I didn't want to do bringer shows, and I didn't want to force anyone else to do bringer shows. Right. So all I required was that you make an effort 2 hours before the show to pass out flyers and bring people in. I was out there most of the time 4 hours before the show and then an hour into the show. Yeah. So that way, if anybody complained, I'd be like, you want to do what I do?
Danny, you were on stage sometimes. Danny would be on stage, and in the middle of his set would go, I got to go. I'll be right back. I got to go hand out some more flyers. Now, you were committed. I tell this to newer comics. In this business, talent is great, and it can get you somewhere. But the drive, ambition gets you everywhere. Talent can only get you so far because there's just so much talent out there, and really, most of the talent is parody. There's not a lot of unbelievable artists out there. Just like there's only so many great baseball players or football players, you only have so many greats, and everyone else is just in the middle of the pack. But what sets people apart, and this is what Danny, this is part of your acumen, is that you were so driven, like me, to just get on stage, to get in front of people, to constantly push to get to the next level. And I have to, I have so much respect. As when I was younger, Danny, you tell me how you feel, but when you're younger as a comic, you're more competitive with other comedians. You're always like worried about like, what's this guy doing? What's that girl doing? How come he got that? And how come she got that? And then as you get older, it's like the 1,000-yard stare. I just have so much respect for comics that have been in the game a long time because it's so hard, and it doesn't matter where I am or they are or what level we're on because we're all chasing the same trophy, and at the end of the day, it's just, it's the will. It's a testament to your desire. So.
Well, I think also, I 100% agree with you. And I think also it's because you and I, and people, most of my friends who are comics, I think are talented and we have a gift that we want to give. You know what I mean? And we don't want to see that gift squandered. And so I think that's the reason we have the drive we have is because we know that, we've seen what we can do to affect people. We've seen, we've all done shows where someone comes up and goes, oh my God, my friend just died, or I just found out I have cancer, or whatever. And they're like, you made me laugh. You made me happy. That's what we're doing it for, to be honest with you, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're right. That's you. I mean, for me, a lot of times they're like, my mom's very ill. She's dying. And I came out to have a good laugh. And I feel even worse now. Like, I don't know what it is you said on stage. I didn't like the cancer joke you made. I'm leaving. I want my money back. And that's the reaction I get.
And you should tell them you're what you're doing is you're setting them up to leave and feel better.
I'll tell you a funny, crazy story. Like I was telling this on stage the other night, but it's true. Comics, we get no respect, and people will call you to do shows. And they don't know. They don't even think you should get paid. I mean, it's amazing that people will call you for like a private event and they think you're like a dancing clown. So, and the more you're not working, especially during COVID, the more bitter you get. So this woman calls me. She goes, hi, I have a fundraiser. She goes, are you available, on Friday, May 10th or whatever? And I go, yeah, I'm available. She goes, oh, well, I have a show and I want to know, what if you're available, what you would charge. And I said, well, I would $1,500. She goes, oh, no. You don't understand. This is a show, and I'm like, oh, here we go. What's the problem? Well, it's a show, but it's a fundraiser. And I go, yeah, well, I'm raising funds over here. So she goes, I understand that, but this is for someone with cancer. And I said, what stage? No more Mr. Nice Guy around. You better,
Dude,
be level
hilarious.
3. You better be level 3, stage 3, bitches, or I'm not coming.
Right? If I'm going to do it for free, you better be like...
Is he on the morphine?
You better be dead by the time I get there if I'm doing it.
Is he on the morphine? Has the hospice been in touch?
Yeah.
No, you know what? And for those of you watching, I just lost my brother to cancer and I lost my mother to cancer years ago. That's a great joke to me because, that's the thing as comedians, we have to laugh at our tragedies.
Yes.
I used, Bob, when I got beat up by 10 guys on the street, I was on the freaking stage doing jokes about being attacked by West
By
Side Story.
the way, that's not true. Fake news. It wasn't 10 guys, 2 girls. And one of them you were trying to have sex with. So
wait, no. Come on, let's not go that far.
More comedy. No,
that's quite a
no, but I
kerfuffle.
know I was literally jumped by at least 10 guys. They were stomping on my head, kicking me in the back.
I forgot about that, Danny. To be honest with you, when was that?
That was back when I was running the underground, and I was on 106 in Amsterdam, and someone had stupidly told me, yeah, well, let them. They got to know you. Once they know you're in the neighborhood, they know you live there. They're not going to mess with you. So I just was like, I walked right by the guys. I could have crossed the street, you know what I mean? And I walked right by the guys, and that's when they attacked me. And I went to the hospital. But the whole point of this, I was on stage the next week doing jokes about it.
I thought you were going to say, and I was on stage the next week, and they all came in and had a great time.
Yeah.
So, no, to your point, for those of you out there that are watching or viewing this, and that is kind of what's going on now with this whole cancel culture thing. Comics, and I know other people don't get this because you're not comedians and you don't think the way we do. But the way most comics think is that the way we handle our pain and suffering is by using levity. It's not that we're minimizing the situation. It's actually a defense mechanism, because many times if I'm not making a joke, then I'd be crying like hysterically about something. So comedy has always been, and this is the way it is for most comedians, a defense mechanism to handle it, to absorb, to process. And it's not any way to make fun of or insult. It's more of like, this is my way of trying to deal with my grieving. I've been to funerals and wakes where I've been hilarious. Not because I'm trying to be, because I'm nervous. I'm nervous. I'm sad. I remember I was at Mike DiStefano's funeral, who was another comedian, his wake, and I met his mother, and I was literally about to start crying because I felt so horribly. I had like a sudden heart attack. And I went over to sit down, and I was like really teary-eyed. And Ryan Hamilton, another comedian, came up to me and he said, "How's it going?" And I said, "I'm good. I'm good." I said, "I'm leaving." He goes, "You're leaving?" I go, "Yeah, I can't find a waitress." And it just came out of my mouth because in that moment I was just upset. That's how I was handling my sadness, just making a stupid joke.
I did the same thing at my mother's funeral. Me and my brothers were carrying the coffin, and as we're walking, everybody's crying and stuff. And I go, "Did Mom gain weight?" Like, you know what I mean? And my brothers all burst out laughing, and it was. I couldn't handle it. And I had to say a joke. I had to do it.
Yeah.
I once got an applause break from pallbearers.
Oh, you did?
They dropped the coffin.
Yeah, it's a stupid joke. And the moment's gone.
Oh, no, I love it. Funny. But yes, that's how we handle it.
So you have always been a great impersonator. I think you used to do an impression of me at one point, but you would always do impressions of people you knew. And you got very, very lucky because Trump was elected.
Yeah.
So, and dude, it blew up for you. You did The View as Trump.
I did a lot of really cool things that a lot of people, I don't know, maybe they know and maybe they don't know I did it. But, when Trump was running, this is how it kind of like the genesis of it. I was wanting to put together like a reel for SNL, and I had been wanting to for a long time to do it. And I was like, I got to find a contemporary impression. I can't go in there and do like a Matt Dillon or a Norm Macdonald, or you certainly can't go in there and do Al Pacino. You got to do something that's relevant. And a lot of guys that do impressions, noticeably, a lot of them will always do the same voices. They do the same characters, and so I wanted to be different. I don't want to go in and have the same arsenal as someone else. So Donald Trump was running, and I remember like I was going on Sirius Radio and doing Race Wars with Kurt Metzger. And I remember Kurt Metzger saying to me, "Hey, you got." I
love Kurt.
Yeah, and he goes, "You got a Trump down yet?" And I go, "No, I'm going to work on it." And he's like, "Yeah, get the Trump down." And then I was like, "Yeah, I got to get that down because that's such a hot character." He hadn't won yet. He was still just kind of running. He decided he was going to run. He was like a buffoon. And I start working on them. It took me about 4 months. I get it down. I'm at the Comedy Cellar one night in New York City, and I see Rory Albanese. And I said, "Hey, Rory." And Rory always heard my impressions of like Rich Voss and these other comedians love other comedian impressions. So they're always asking me, "Dude, you got to do your Voss, or whatever." So I said, I could do Trump now. I said, maybe you should pitch it to Larry Wilmore. He said, absolutely. Pitched it. Within a few weeks, I'm literally in the room in front of all the writers, doing a read through in makeup. That night, I'm on the show in front of a live audience. That night it airs. And then like a week later, they're like, we want to like bring you on again. And then we want to sign you to like a contract to be the Donald Trump on the nightly show on Comedy Central. You have an exclusivity deal.
Wow.
And it was everything that you and we've been working for years. It's like 16 years of stand-up got me, Gotham Live and a couple like little TV things. But the thing that got me and broke me and got me really known was doing a YouTube video at home and pitching it to somebody. So there you go. And then after that, it was like The View on ABC. I was the voice of Trump on Murphy Brown 2 years ago when they did the reboot. I toured with Kendrick Lamar and rapper YG for a month doing 30,000 seat arenas from Sacramento all the way to Miami to Canada. Unbelievable stuff that you would never, and people say this, it sounds cliche when they go, oh, 5 years ago, if you asked me if I'd be doing this, I would say, no way. But it was really true. Like I never could have predicted where this would have happened. And then I did Coachella 2019. That's when I came out and was coming by your room to do some spots. Coachella for 80,000 people doing Donald Trump on stage. What an amazing experience. And now, even to this moment, people are calling me. I do private events all around the country, around the world. I've been to Switzerland twice, been to Italy. I love doing the character. It's fun. I work for all sides. Liberals hire me. Republicans hire me. It seems like Republicans have a better sense of humor because when Trump was running,
really,
most liberals were getting very triggered at that time.
Oh, yeah.
The irony was that when Trump was running, he was considered, it was funny because they didn't think he'd win. So all the networks, that's when I got most of my TV stuff. And then once he won, that's when I got more of my private stuff because the private stuff was like 95% Republican and a very small percentage of people because they didn't want to see Trump. They were like, oh my God.
The liberals probably wanted to murder you.
They did. So I would walk. At Coachella, people were like throwing bottles at me. People would like.
Oh my God!
I had girls walking out of shows, giving me the finger, crying, calling me a rapist because I was dressed as Trump.
Oh my God!
Yeah, insane.
That is.
I walked out. I did the Day Night Festival, which is like a very hard rap festival of rappers that's in LA, and it was everyone in the audience looked like they were like on lockup, Asian, Mexican, Central American, Black, Hispanic, white, all tatted up, no shirts on, middle of summer. It was like a gang. It was just like it was like 20,000 gang members. And I remember right before I walk out on stage, some kid goes, "Yo, you gonna catch a bullet tonight, son. You're gonna catch a bullet." And I'm like, this guy doesn't even get it. They're so dumb.
No, because you were actually making fun of Trump.
Right. And it's a parody, you moron. I'm singing it because YG is going to come out and sing "Fuck Donald Trump." That's the fun. That's the comedy. Don't you get it, you dumbass? He didn't get it. He was so dumb.
No, but it's crazy. Both sides.
Sides.
People can't see reality. Reality. No. You were an impersonator. You weren't Trump.
Right.
But they were treating you like Trump.
And on the other side of it, I did very, very liberal events. So I got called to do Mika and Joe Scarborough's engagement party like 3 years ago. And I'm in the room, they bring me there and they want to bring me out as Trump because, they don't like Trump and they know Trump. So one of their friends says, let's bring a Trump in and have him roast him. So they bring me in and I'm in a room, not much bigger than probably the Underground Lounge, like in the main room where the comedy show is. So I'm in a room like that. It's very intimate. And in front of me is Martha Stewart, Mayor de Blasio, Chuck Schumer, Charlie Rose, Donnie Deutsch. I think I said Chuck Schumer, I mean, every strong liberal that you can imagine, all in the room, and me, and the only people laughing were Al Sharpton and Donnie Deutsch. And everyone else, they were so nervous. And I'm in there, and I remember seeing John Kerry was there, and I said something like, John Kerry, it was right after Trump got back from Vietnam, and I said, I got back from Vietnam, but I'm going back, and let's go back and finish off the war. You know, I said, he didn't crack a smile. No one had a sense of humor. And I learned that on both sides politically, people really don't, they're so locked into their side that they really have a hard time either laughing at the other side or even laughing at themselves. They're always worried about the optics and how people are going to perceive them. So no one there, they were all like afraid to laugh. And then like a few months later, I'm doing the Michigan Republican Convention, and I go on right after Corey Lewandowski. And Corey Lewandowski wouldn't come within 20 feet of me. And I couldn't understand it. I was like upset. Like, why doesn't he want to take a picture with me? And they were like, yeah, he's not going to take a picture with you because he's probably worried Trump's going to see it, and Trump's going to get mad at him, thinking that
Did Trump not like your impersonation? Do you know? Did he have any feelings?
I don't know,
okay.
And I'm sure he knows that I do it.
I'm sure he hated every Trump impersonator.
I'm sure. Well, he should, and he should like me because I'm really the only one I believe that plays him down the middle. I do him the way I would do my dad or my mother at the dinner table.
You're not a
none.
Yeah,
none.
Yeah, you're not a political guy. You're like me. I try to stay out of it. I mean, I have my feelings, but I try. I mean, Facebook, I got into it a little bit, but I try.
Yeah.
But this show, we stay away from politics on the show.
Yeah.
But it's amazing that.
Well, it's all hatred based now. That you're on your team, but you're united by your hatred for the other team.
Right.
Yeah, and to the point, like, unfortunately, now we live in a world where it's like you have to pick a side, and that's part of it, right? You're forced to pick a side because if you don't, then you're labeled as something. So it's either Pepsi or Coke, Yankees or Mets, Giants or Jets. It's like you have to pick a team. And so when I go out and I did TV and I was doing Trump where I was making fun of Trump because that was the script I was given. It's my job. It doesn't mean I feel that way. And then I had people on the right that were furious. And then when I did for the right, then the liberals are like, oh, I see you on a boat, the Georgia boat parade. You know, we kowtowing all these people who love Trump. It's like, yeah, because I'm an artist. And
it's your job.
You know, I paint whatever picture I want to paint on my canvas. And whoever wants to buy my painting, then that's the person who pays me. And that's how it is. And they look at it like, oh, you're being a sellout. Artists are not being sellouts. If I was a political liberal and then behind their back, I was doing events for Republicans, well, then you could say, well, wait a minute, you're going against what you preach. But I've always preached I'm an independent. I don't really take a side. There's people on the right. I'm sure you guys could step back in politics and go, I see all the bullshit on both sides. You know, I see the stuff on the right, I see it on the left, and there's hypocrisy everywhere, and it's gross. And so I could never pick a side because I think both sides are totally corrupt on so many levels.
Okay, but we're not a political show, so we're not going to get into that.
Yeah, no.
We started to get into it, but
no.
The whole point.
Yeah.
No. I know you're not. You're not at all, and that's what I love about you. You're just an entertainer. You're trying to entertain people, and you've always done impressions of so many. What other impressions do you do, by the way?
Well, I started off when I was younger, like I think Nicholson. I mean, when I was a kid, I think Jack Nicholson was still like doing lots of movies, you know? So that was probably so I would walk around the house and be like, do you realize that I work? Do you like to be interrupted when you're dancing around in your little garden? Well, I work all the time. And it started with that, you know, and then it was like, you know, like other little, like Bill Clinton. It is so good to be here. You have no idea. I'll tell you what, people say, Bill, how come every time we see you give a speech, your thumb looks so little? I said, because I've been sitting on it the last 10 years. I haven't done squat. And then you start doing more obscure ones like Norm Macdonald. Hey, yeah, this is Norm there. Man, you ever light us home for no reason here? You're like, yeah, I saw that movie there. And in the back of your mind, I'm thinking, man, I never saw that movie. Man, I had no reason to lie there. Man,
That's great.
not good there, right? That's not good there. And then I would just do all these, Al Pacino is right here. Oh, look at this. Who do you think you are? That's right. What? And I would just walk around and do these characters. And then the Trump.
Dude, the thing that blew my mind was when you were at Caroline's, you would do impressions of the comedians at Caroline's. You did impressions of me. You did impression of me at one point.
I did. I don't remember how I did it.
I don't either. But I'm not going to ask you to do it because I know you ripped the shit out of me.
The Trump thing I worked on and I didn't get it for 4 months. And then finally I got it. And it was like taking one word and then putting it to a sentence. And at first it was like China and jobs. And then before you know it, after really a couple of years, I really honed it, and then I could just walk out and with an impression, you have an impression down when you listen back to the voice and you don't hear yourself at all. That's when you go, I'm in there now. Now that's somebody else now. That's when because usually for a long time you're like, oh, I still hear me. I hear me in there. But that's when you really know. So, but it takes a long time to hone an impression. And with Trump, it was, getting all the hands and the movements. And now, like, if someone just came up to me, I can just fall right into it and be like, just come out and be like, well, it's great to be here, everybody. We've got a great turnout. Danny McDermott Zoom. I think this is really a great turnout. I think we're looking at big numbers. These tremendous numbers. I think I counted. As I walked in, we've got about 17.6 million people tonight, everybody, on StreamYard. And frankly, Danny McDermott is the greatest show in the history of the country and perhaps even the world. It might be the greatest in the world. The likes really that no one's ever seen before. Danny's doing things that people only dream about. He's a great man. He's a great guy. And he got beaten up by 10 people from shithole countries in New York City. It was horrible. You know that. It was horrible. We got to grab them. They're looters. They're agitators. I call them criminals. I call them bad actors, really. Frankly, I like to call them bad actors. And when I say bad actors, I'm not talking about Keanu Reeves. I'm talking about very bad people, right? But we're doing wonderfully. We love Danny. And the sidekick, I love the sidekick. He's a great guy. And we're working together very closely. And I just gave a tremendous rally, had a beautiful rally. We had about a beautiful crowd. I got a standing ovation. And that included the people in the wheelchairs. They stood right up. They stood. They loved me. And we've got a great wall. We got this beautiful wall happening. People are coming up to me. They go, we can't believe how the wall's going to be. And you see what's happening with Sleepy Joe. They're pouring into the country. Millions and millions are pouring in. And it's sad because we had a great wall. And people said to me, well, how big? What about the other big walls? I said, like, which ones? They said, well, what about the Great Wall of China? And I said, the Great Wall of China is not even a big wall. It looks like a big wall because Chinese people are 3 feet tall.
Dude, I am so using that clip for promotion for our show. Dude, that was awesome.
I'll be happy to do a bumper for you and record it separately so you can, so it sounds professional, and I'll send it to you if you want. So
where can people find you?
Well, I do a lot of stuff on Twitter. So it's at Bob DiBuono, at BOBDIBUONO. So I'm on there a lot. Instagram, again, at it's Bob and then DiBuono, DIBUONO. And if you guys want a personalized Trump video with me in the makeup, I'm on Cameo. And that's what's been like allowing me to support myself during the lockdown because the clubs weren't open and I lost a lot of my private events, but Cameo has been amazing because I can go on there and people can hire me for a birthday, anniversary, get well. I come on as Trump with the makeup, say whatever you want me to say, and it's been a lot of fun. So
that's awesome.
Well, we're going to have all that in the description.
Thank you.
Then we're good, so everybody can find that and stuff like that. Now, Bob, I got to bring on our next guest, but
okay, buddy.
please hang out if you want. We are going to have a segment at the end with my buddy Anthony. And we do have an after party as well. And you don't have to drink.
Oh, good. I don't have
All
to.
right. So
how did you commemorate turning 12?
What's that?
How did you commemorate turning 12 if you didn't drink?
Turning 12. We mean 12 years old?
Yes.
Why? Is that how you do it? You get drunk?
That's probably the age when I started drinking. I don't drink either though. Anymore.
Okay.
Yes, but
he quit. He quit after killing several people.
That's not true.
All right. Well, I can hang out for a while, so I'll watch your next guest. Ty.
All right, cool, man. We'll see you in a bit.
All right, buddy.
All right, buddy. Isn't he awesome?
That was
Is
fantastic.
he awesome?
That
Right?
was great. Absolutely. Interesting, funny, entertaining, compelling. He does it all.
We didn't even do this segment yet, but we'll do the. You know what? We're gonna do the later. We'll do it toward the end or something. Right now, we got to bring on our next guest because he's been waiting patiently, and I am a big fan of his stand-up comedy. He's a good friend of mine. He is from Comedy Central, multiple Tonight shows, Dry Bar, Last Comic Standing, America's Got Talent, and Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Please welcome Ty Barnett, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, how are you? How's everybody? What's going on?
Welcome.
Oh, you guys don't even know how close you came to missing me on this show just now. Because I went downstairs and me and my wife had a little debate about who left the garage lights on. So we were both in the garage. And I had locked the door because I'm paranoid. I'm from Chicago. I locked the doors, period. Long story short, we got locked in the garage. This happened just now. And we had to call a locksmith. Locksmith came out, got us in, and just in time for me to run up here and do this. So yes,
Dude,
and I didn't have my phone, by the way, Danny. So the whole time I was sitting there thinking, like, "Fuck, he's gonna think
you were locked in the garage. Are you serious?
No, we were locked out. Like, luckily the garage door opened, so we had to go to our neighbor, use our neighbor's phone, call a locksmith, and literally just pick the lock. And the locksmith was like, when he came over, he was like, well, I can probably do this in about 20, 25 minutes. I was like, and there's no way to really make a podcast / talk show sound more important than getting in your home. But I tried. I was like, hey, man, I'm supposed to be on the Zoom chat right now, bro. And he kind of looked at me like, really? That's
You're like, dude, you have no idea how big the Danny McDermott Show is. Okay, this is my career. This is my life. You're killing me.
Yeah, I didn't want you to be like, wait a minute, he was here. I see his camera on. Where was he? So anyway, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Dude, I love you, man. You're one of the sweetest, nicest guys, and one of the funniest guys I've ever seen on stage.
Thank you.
No, dude. Where did we first meet? Did we meet in New York City or LA?
I want to say LA, and then we reconnected in New York because we got into a conversation about how much I was telling you how much I love the East Coast, and you were telling me, and we just connected through that, and then we hung out in New York.
Rudy's. At Rudy's.
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Yep.
So I told you, man, my heart is in New York in a lot of different ways, but you know, the work is more so, and my wife is on the West Coast, so.
Yeah. You kind of got to be with your wife.
Yeah, that's what they say. That's,
On the upside, though, in New York, there is no garage to get locked in or out of.
That is true. That is very true. I thought about it. You got silver linings, bro. So hashtag silver lining.
That's the main reason he wants to move back to New York. He keeps getting locked out of his garage in LA. So he's like,
dude, you know, and what's crazy is like I am very paranoid about locking up stuff. Again, growing up in Chicago, that's just how it is. And so my wife teases me about this because I do my checklist. I check everything. I'm a little OCD with it. And so this time I was like, wait a minute. Okay, wait, we locked out. And then I was like, wait a minute. Okay, there's got to be another way in. Okay, let's check the back. Wait, okay, that's locked too. Okay, wait, no, maybe there's another way around. Or maybe up. And I was like, oh, and so it was a bittersweet feeling because part of me was like, fuck, I cannot get in my own home. But another part was like, neither can no one else. So
Right?
I have that gene too. I'm from Brooklyn. I lock doors of houses I don't live in. On the way out, I lock the door. Period.
I like that. I like that. See, that's somebody you can invite to your house. He will remember to lock your door right there. There you go. There you go.
Absolutely. I don't have power locks on my car, so whenever anybody leaves the door open, I'm like pissed off. So.
Oh no. I used to have this routine with my car that this is before I got an alarm that sounded where you can hear it. I used to go around and pull the handle of each door. And it was
no way.
Yeah, oh bro, it would piss my kids off, one, and then they would just be like, we get this locked, and I'm like, can't take no chances. But then when I got the alarm, you can hear it. I'm like, all right, we're good. We're good.
There you go. I got a 2000 Celica GTS in almost perfect condition. So it's a beautiful car. Yeah. So
it's not.
No. It's got electric windows and stuff like that, but the electrical system needs to be fixed a little bit. So it does. I think when I first bought it, it worked, but it's actually going to be worth a lot of money soon. I got it for $1,000. It was worth $3,500 at the time.
Bro, you sound like Al Bundy right now. With his Dodge.
What's that, Peg? What?
Peg.
What are you talking about?
Someone stole the Dodge, Peg.
I love that guy. I love that guy.
Dude, hey man, Ed O'Neill to me, man, is one of those guys. He's one of those guys, those celebrities that you like, just please don't let any bad news come out about him. Because I don't want to not like him. You know what I'm saying? Please don't fuck up Ed O'Neill. Please.
Oh, dude, he's so genuine. He seems like such a genuine dude, man.
You ever see Dutch?
So, yes.
Great movie.
Yes. You know, it's crazy that he didn't make it as a movie actor, I thought, because he's so talented.
You want to hear, and I know we're talking about me here, but I got to tell you this really quick story about him. You know how he got the role of Al Bundy? No. So he was doing serious work, stage work, dramas and stuff like that. So when he got the call at the time, Fox wasn't Fox. It's not what it is now. It was just starting out, and so he got the call. He got read it, and he thought it was. I'm not reading this. This is this is beneath me. I'm a stage actor. I'm a dramatic actor, and so his agent had to talk him into doing it. Doing it. So he really didn't want to go. So he went to the audition, and when he went to the audition, he went in with this attitude of "fuck, let me just hurry up and get this over with." And when he walked in with this like. And the casting people said when he walked in with that attitude, they knew they had their Al Bundy.
Wow.
It's crazy. Yeah. And then 11 seasons later, history, bro.
That reminds me of Danny. I heard about Danny DeVito's audition for Taxi. He walked in. Yeah, he walked in and he picks up the script and he's about to read it. And he goes, "What the fuck is this shit?" And he crumples it up and throws the script.
That's the character, though.
That's it.
Yeah.
Louis De Palma.
Yeah. So let's talk about you. How many times have you done the Tonight Show?
I've done the Tonight Show 2-3 times, somewhere around there.
2-3. See, if I did it, I would know exactly how many times I've done.
Well, because there are times where you can get bumped. You know what I'm saying? Right. So like I remember there are times where like I would get the call, and the very first time I got the call, I was so excited. I called everybody that I could tell. Everybody asked, I said, "Yo, I'm about to do the Tonight Show." As a comedian, it's like the rite of passage, and I'm so it was a big deal. And then so I got bumped, and I forgot why, but it was but they tell you this ahead of time. They say, "Hey, there's a chance that a rescheduled thing may happen, and it is what it is." So it happened. I got bumped. Then I finally did the show. It was cool. And then they called me back for another time. And this is when Bob and Ross were doing the show. They were the bookers. And this is back in the day when bookers actually came to the venue to see you work on the set. You know what I'm saying? This is, I know I'm aging myself here when I say that. Yes, they used to come out and they would watch your set. And I remember them coming out to the Comedy and Magic Club and seeing that. So the first 2 times, so I think it was 3. Maybe I did it 3. I think, maybe 3. So they give you leeway. But I remember getting bumped a few times before I did the 3rd one. And what they told me, they had bumped me so many times. I remember I was at home and I was playing video games and I was sitting with my brother and, I'm just playing and the phone rings and I pick up the phone and I'm like, yeah, yep. Okay. Yeah, no problem. All right. I hang the phone up and my brother's like, who's that? I was like, oh, that's the Tonight Show. Anyway. and he's like, the Tonight Show is like, oh yeah, man, it's fine. They want me to do the thing and we'll see. And he just kind of paused the game like, motherfucker, are you serious? The Tonight Show? And so I was like, yeah. But I'd already had that relationship with them to where, and I remember getting bumped. It was for Snoop. And they called me and they said, well, hey, listen, we want you to do the show. And they actually called me. This is the good and bad thing about the preparation that went into what I did, because they knew this about me. They knew that I was meticulous in how I prepared, but they also knew they could call me at the last minute, literally, to do the show, because they knew I would just have a set in the chamber. I always kept one ready. So they called me and they said, well, hey, what are you doing tomorrow afternoon? And I said, nothing. They said, well, Snoop is, and this is what they told me, and I hope Snoop is not watching, but they don't book the show anymore anyway. So in case not on the show. But when they said, well, listen, okay, Snoop is supposed to do the show, but he's being an asshole. Okay. So he's saying that he may or may not come in, so we need to have a guest just in case. Can you come in? They said, we'll pay you regardless of whether you air or not. We'll pay you. And I was like, shit, okay. I'm cool. I'll get bumped for, whatever SAG scale was then. I'll take it. And so I can't even get excited at this point because I'm just like, I want
to say it was $685.
Somewhere, yeah. It was some.
It was right around.
It was some number where you just like.
I remember that. I remember those. I did The View. I did The View back in the day.
So the limo comes, right? Everything happens. Like I get prepared and everything. Iron the outfit. I got the set ready. They give me the talking points, all this stuff, and all of this. We get to the studio. They send the limo for me. Was this or either one of the two? I drove my car. One of the two. No, I think I drove my car just in case. That's what so I drove my car just in case. So I get there. I get to my dressing room, and as I
wait, hold on. You drove your car just in case. In other words, if they would pick you up in a limo, but if you got bumped, they didn't drive you home.
Oh no! Exactly. Yeah. I didn't have to think about that, but I was like, I think at that point I was like, well, just in case, I want to be able to go out to dinner somewhere else.
Right. Gotcha.
Here. So I was just kind of like, just in case, I want to have my own vehicle. So I get to the studio, and again, this is an hour or so before the show was supposed to start taping. So I get there, and as soon as I walk in, I get in the studio, I get in my dressing room, and I'm like, okay, all right. My girlfriend's there at the time, my now wife, then girlfriend's there, and we're like, okay, we're about to do this Tonight Show again. I'm here. I'm in the studio. And about 10 minutes later, this huge smell of weed comes through the thing, and I turned my girlfriend and I said,
you're like Snoop Dogg.
Snoop. Okay. All right, well, we got the gift basket. That's fine. And sure enough, he walked down. I see him walking down the hallway. By the way, his bodyguard is huge. Like, let me tell you something. I'm a man, and I take pride in being a man, but that was the first time I saw a dude where I'm like, I'm going to have to pick up something to hit this dude. So there's no way we're going toe to toe. There's no way.
Right.
So yeah, and then I ended up doing it the time after that, probably like a month or so later after that. But yeah, so it's been a few times.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome.
I
And
always
you
tell
did.
it's hard to say this without sounding like you're bragging, but I'm like one of the few people that has been on every major network in television. So
Yeah.
ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, a couple other ones in there. So
To be honest with you, dude, I am blown away that you are not super famous, because I mean, I remember when I booked you on my show, you crushed it every time. And it, there's some comics who get a lot of laughs and they got good jokes, but your jokes were so good
man.
that it was just like, I mean, you obviously put so much craft and so much work into your writing, and
Well, that came from Seattle. That came from starting comedy in Seattle, because where I started, like, especially being a black comic or a comic that's black, in order to get stage time on good stages, like mainstream stages, like you had to have a versatile set. So I came up watching people who would just, I mean, kill. Like, I'm talking about, they would get belly laughs, and I would study those laughs that they're getting. I'm like, man, look at, because I'm one of those people, like, I look at both. I don't just look at the comedian performing. I look at the audience and see who's digging what and what's resonating with them. So I grew up watching that and watching the laughs. I mean, learning what a callback is, learning, how to maximize every word and all that stuff. So the writing for me has just always just been a part of what I do. Even when we did Last Comic, I remember, they really wanted to do this thing. You know how reality shows are. They want to create drama amongst the contestants. And that season, they tried to create all of this friction. And honestly, if you go back and look at the show, I'm not featured a ton in the reality show part of it. Like, I'm not, like, you don't see me doing any crazy shit, because I'm like, first of all, I can't pretend to not like you if I like you, just like I can't pretend to like you if I hate you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So they knew that with me, and they knew they couldn't really goat me into anything. They tried it the season before when I auditioned, and Ant and I got into it, and they tried to create some friction, and they saw I wasn't falling for it, so it just never happened. But anyway, long story short, with that,
wait. Before you move on from that, I think that's great, and that's one of the reasons I love you, is because your integrity is you've got real integrity. It's one of the reasons that's one of the reasons you're a friend of mine, is because I'm the same way. And I had gotten on one of those blind date shows, and they tried to goad me into saying all this stuff, and I said no. Yeah. I said I got niece. But this was before I was married, before I had a kid. They're like, I made a stupid joke about the size of my penis, whatever, but it was just a joke, and they're like, we want you to talk more about that. I'm like, no. No.
Can you talk more about your penis, sir, please?
Yeah, I'm like, no. It was a very subtle under, like innuendo. It wasn't even, you know what I mean? And they wanted me to go outright and talk about how huge I was, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, I got nephews and nieces that might see this. I'm using, look, if I was doing a character, I'd be fine with it. But I'm not. I'm using my own name. And you want me to use my own name and make a fool of myself, I won't do it. And I never would. And
that's I always say the hardest thing to have and the best thing to have is standards. Yep. And because when you have them, you can create a level for yourself, but when you have them, people will try to push you to a certain level. And it's been like that throughout my whole career, to be honest with you. So like I said, it started with Last Comic, where they really tried to create this drama that was there with us. And our season, we genuinely loved hanging out with each other. We liked each other. I loved Josh, Chris, Roz, Kristen, Rebecca, even Gabriel, before Gabriel got kicked off. But my whole point to that story is that the only time I started really getting noticed on that season was when the stand-up would come around, when the performances would happen, because everybody was like, damn, this dude, we didn't see him the whole episode, but fuck, he's killing on this. Because
your stand-up,
I would just tell him it's just about the jokes for me. It was always just about the jokes.
The great thing about your stand-up, look, you have the performance ability. I mean, you're a great actor, you're a great performer, but your jokes are so good they could just stand on their own. You can literally just deliver them subtly, and people will go laugh their asses off. I mean, I know when I booked you, I was laughing my damn ass off, and so you've got both of that, both things going.
And you know what? Thank you, dude, because I watch a lot of comedians and the people I grew up watching. That's one of the things that stood out to me. Like I told you, I watch. I was quoting Mitch Hedberg the other day to somebody. I was quoting Mitch to somebody, and I was telling them the donut joke, and where he says other day I went and bought a donut, and the cashier asked me, "Would you like a receipt for that?" And I said, no, thank you. I don't think there will ever be a scenario where I need to prove that I bought a donut. He said, he said, I'm not going to be, in some situation where they'll be like, oh, look here, Mr. Hedgeberg, you are short 50 cents. He's like, oh, no. I have my receipt. It was filed in the deed for donut. And so that joke itself, when you look at it, I was like, man, first of all, you got to be Mitch to really pull it off.
Yeah, you do.
But the wording of that joke and the little nuances of I filed it under D for donut. Those are the types of things that I found myself when I was starting in comedy, like, man, do you see how he did that with the thing? He just he didn't have to add that little extra thing there. He could have just left it at the beginning of that joke. And I watched that to people with Chappelle, Chris Rock. Jerry Seinfeld doesn't really get a whole lot of credit as far as being, mainstream with certain people because, he just did Seinfeld.
Right.
But his writing style, bananas. Bananas. So
you know who Mitch, who always reminded me of Mitch Hedberg, Dimitri Martin.
Yeah. Dimitri, except with with the drawing, sometimes you'd be like, okay, but
he didn't have that early on though. He was straight.
Somebody told me that early on.
He used to pass out flyers to get on my shows.
Hilarious.
Isn't that crazy?
Was that Times Square?
No. Okay, I don't know if you realize this, but I had people passing out flyers back in the late 90s before they even did tickets on the street. What happened was I went to LA for a month or two, and the guy that I trained to run my shows got scooped up by the Ha Comedy Club.
Yeah.
And there's one in LA that's the Ha Comedy Club, and there's one in New York that's the Ha Ha. And he started training their comics to get people in off the street because of my training. I trained him, he trained them. They started doing 6 shows a night. All of a sudden, the other comedy clubs saw the success, and so they all started doing it.
Oh, wow.
But before that, there was no street ticket sales. There was no flyering on the street. They did it by email, by phone calls, all because of my little comedy room.
That's happened to me. That's happened to me, by the way, being in New York. And because I don't like telling people what I do unless I'm doing it. Like, I just really don't. Like, my wife trips out on that. She's like, you are a totally different person when you're not performing, and you can see it. Like, you'll see when I'm hey, and as soon as I say thank you, good night, I'm like, I'm so I'm walking through New York, and that's one of the reasons I love New York is I can walk around New York, my headphones on, head down, I ain't got to pay attention to nobody. And when first time I started seeing the Barkers out there with the thing, and they'd be like, hey, comedy show. And they would just say whoever's going to be there. Chappelle's going to be here. Jesus is coming through for a guest set. And you're like, hey, how can I not go see Jesus? So I remember one time I forgot what show I was on. I was doing something. But I think I was in New York to do the thing. And the Barker was like, hey, man, you want to come to a comedy show? And my wife was with me. And my wife is really good at ignoring people, like really good, like amazing how easily she can ignore.
I just want to say jokes about you being in bed right now with her. And,
well, thank goodness we're not there yet. We're not at that point. But like we're walking, and the guy's like, "Hey man, you don't want to come see a comedy show?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm good, man. Thanks, bro." And as I walk off, he's like, "What? You don't like comedy?" And so I almost felt like it was the equivalent of Marty McFly getting called chicken. I'm kind of like,
right.
Okay, you don't know. You don't know better. It's fine. And my wife grabs my arm. She's like, "Baby, come on." And then she turns to the person, and she's just like, you just don't know."
Dude, I've had that happen to me. I was bitter for a while about it. I was bitter for a while. And when a flyer person from the Haha or one of the other clubs came up to me, I turn around and go, "I started this whole thing. You're only on the street because of me."
Exactly. Which that sounds terrible when you say it that way. Like you're only on the street because. So yeah, man, it's been weird because I've been in this business, man, for like 20 years, and you don't really realize 20 plus years go by like that until you have conversations like this with people, and you're like, "Oh wow, it has been that long." And so I think for me, the thing that has never changed over the time is the love of stand-up, and I think that's why the writing still means something to me. Like I just did a corporate gig, and I was telling my wife, I was like, "Well, you know what?" Because I had to go to Nebraska for the gig, and so as I'm traveling, no one's been traveling for like a year. This has been a year and a half, right?
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I'm one of those people, bro, that was not bothered by that at all. Like I honestly was like, I don't like people all that much. When
I was the same way. I'm
kind of like I got the internet, I got the DVR, I got cable, I got a ton of shit I can do at home. So when I have to go somewhere, it's always this thing now of, oh wow. So anyway, on the trip, I landed in Omaha, and I remember years ago playing a club in Omaha and getting really excited about going to Omaha. And this time it wasn't that. It was just like, all right, let me help and do the gig. I can go home. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Right.
The only thing that stayed the same was when they introduced me to get on stage and I started telling jokes. That feeling was like, okay, this still feels great. This part here still feels amazing. But as soon as I was done, I was like, all right, I'm ready to get back home. So 20 plus years, I still love this. I still love the writing. I still am a fan of stand-up. It's just like I said, for me, I think my priorities are different because I love it so much. That's why it's hard to watch a lot of these people who consider themselves stand-ups.
I know. Let's not even get into that. No, because you're absolutely right. Like people literally, they've been doing it for a week or 2 weeks, and they're like, "Yes, I'm a stand-up," or "I think I'm a stand-up," and it's like, you and me have been doing it for 20 something years. We're like, I didn't even call myself a stand-up for the first 3 to 4 years because
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I think we had this conversation before. Remember, I don't know if I told you this, but I remember I was a year into the business. A year. I was at the Comedy Underground. It was my home club where I started, and I used to carry this. Those little legal notepads, the manila,
Yeah.
And I had one of those, and on every line was just written one thought, which we know now is a thought. So we just say, "Hey, small towns," or
bullet points. Yeah.
But yeah, just exactly. But every line was filled up for 3 pages. And I've only been doing comedy a year. So I remember being at the bar, and there's a veteran comic. I can't remember who it was, but they was like, "Oh, how long you been doing stand-up?" And I'm like, "About a year." And I'm feeling myself. So yeah, I've been in this a year, man. And then he says, "How much time you got?" And I said, what are you talking about time? He says, "How much time you got?" Oh, and I kid you not, bro. I remember like it was just yesterday. I flipped through the little thing, and I'm like, about 3 hours. I said, I have about 3 hours. And he looked at me, I kid you, and I'm surprised he didn't do a spit take. he says, wait a minute. He says, wait a minute. So you've been doing comedy a year.
Dude, that made me laugh so hard.
He said, you have
Oh my
3
God.
hours of material. And I said, yeah. He says, well, how much solid time do you have? And I said, what are you talking about? What do you mean solid? What's solid? You know? And he said, says, how much time do you have that from the time you get on stage to the time that you say goodnight that they're laughing? And I looked at that same envelope and I was like, probably about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Because I was honest with myself about where I was. And this, again, that was a year in. Like you just said, there's people that's been doing comedy like 2 weeks and they're ready for Netflix.
Yeah, they're telling it. And I'm not going to say why, but look at good looking people, men or women, they get spots just because they're good looking and they've only been doing it 2 weeks. That drives me nuts too. But let's not get into that.
Oh, bro. But you know what? But this is why I say at some point there has to be a love for what you do. I always tell new comedians this. I say, man, if you're getting into this for the money and the fame, I say, good luck.
Right.
Good luck, bro. You are setting a high bar. But if you get into it for the reason that you love, and it's a genuine love, regardless of the money or the fame, then you'll very rarely be disappointed. And that's been what I've tried to live by for all of these years, because I didn't get into it to be rich or famous. And, I got into it because I just wanted to do something with my life that I love to do. And stand up has been that thing. And man, when you don't, I'm telling you, Danny, y'all don't really, you don't realize where you are in your life until you are forced to kind of step back and look at it and be like, oh, wow. I remember I was on the set of Till Death with, Brad Garrett's show, the show that he had.
Yep.
And I had booked a reoccurring role on the show. And so I remember one day I'm sitting on set. I have a trailer with my name on it. I have my script, my sides. This is my wardrobe, all this shit. And I'm reading it. And I was like, man, for some reason I was just like, okay, well, hopefully this will lead to the next thing. And then hopefully this will lead to something else. And then hopefully this will be good enough to do this thing. And I had to stop and catch myself and say, hey, bro, you are on set right now. Right now. You're on set right now. Why the fuck are you worried about something else? And I had to remind myself of those things, man, just because, like I said, you don't realize how far you've gone in the journey, all the time. When you're in it, you don't realize it. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I try to tell a lot of young comics, I'm like, get into it for a reason that makes sense to you, not to your manager, not to your agent, not to your people, and you. And then you'll very rarely be disappointed.
Beautiful. Okay, now I want you to stay on, but where can people find you?
ComedianTyBarnett.com, which has all the links to all the different social media platforms. Let's see. That's right. ComedianTyBarnett.com. I was about to say, I thought she did that right as I was typing. I was like, man, she's a quick typer. But,
hey, we're prepared, man. This is a professional show.
What's up? Yeah. So yes, ComedianTyBarnett.com, which has all the other links. I also do. I have a dry bar special that's out. People can check out now. Also, I do a weekly podcast on Facebook. It streams on all different media platforms called Critical and Thinking. I do that with my podcast partner, Ian Harris. We do that every Friday, 12 noon. And I have a web series that will be back in production called This Is the Bullshit I'm Talking About. So you can check that out soon, too.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Very nice.
All right. Now we're going to bring Bob on. And have you guys ever met, by the way?
I don't think so. We may have seen each other in passing, like you in New York. Were you on the East Coast?
Yes. Yeah. I think I met you for like a hot second at Stand Up New York one night.
Yep. That was it.
Well, you guys should definitely connect after the show. But right now, because you guys are amazing people, both of you. I love you both. But right now, I sounded like Trump there for a minute, Bob. Because I love you both. We're going to do a segment right now. And I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but we have this technology exclusive for the Danny McDermott Show where we can actually take a video of animals and read their minds. and it'll actually show what they're actually thinking. So since it was 420 yesterday, we decided to read the minds of these two very high kittens, these very high cats. So let's roll this.
Animal mind reading technology. Cats on 420.
Holy crap, what was in Grandma's brownies?
My, what big brownie portions you have, Grand.
I told you we should only have a little, but they tasted so good.
Those brownies
I feel like an electric
rich.
dinosaur. Dude, this would make a great movie. Oh, I wish we could write things down. I feel so creative. You're gonna help me remember this tomorrow, right?
This
This is gonna make us
forest,
rich.
cold and perfect.
Oh, I am so hungry. This tastes like food, but it just feels weird. It's a texture in my mouth. It's just like...
I forget.
There you go.
Were you doing those voices, Danny?
Cats were okay.
What was that?
I really hope those cats were okay. The whole time I'm
just-
like, Wade.
Danny, Danny didn't even pay him. He's such a cheap fuck.
Just so you know, the Danny McDermott Show did not get those cats high.
Okay, all right. I'm pretty sure you saw that Peter's like, what's the link? How do we get a hold of this guy here?
Right?
How do we find him?
No, PETA's in favor of eating roadkill. There's a state that's legalizing eating roadkill, and PETA said it's very humane. So
Hey.
I found them like that story hopefully carries over.
Hilarious. Do you know there's a place actually that they cook roadkill?
That's
No way.
Yeah. I was doing research for a show and I was just trying to find weird restaurants. And there's a restaurant I think called I think it's called the Roadkill Cafe. So
Wow.
Is that in Louisiana?
no, but I think their sponsor is McDonald's.
I'm just really.
I'm joking.
I'm just picturing the staff like every day trying to run over animals.
Yeah.
to get the food for the restaurant.
They come out with those what's those Mad Max wheels with the thing spinning on the sides.
It's like, it reminds me of that old Gary Shandling joke, which I thought was hilarious. He goes, my father loved hunting, but he didn't believe in guns. So he would take his car down to a deer crossing and wait.
Gary Shandling. Oh man, props to him. Great show, by the way.
Okay, guys, we got our last segment of the night. Thank you guys for hanging out. This is gonna be fun. I'm glad you guys are on board for this. This is Anthony has been a great friend to the show. He's an amazing talent, and he's got a video store that he built under his house, and we're going to talk about videos. So let's go. Let's do this.
What are your favorite stoner movies?
All right.
I built it underneath my house, like underneath the rock in the sediment of my home.
It's a
Like-
bunker. It's a bunker now, not a basement.
Yeah, it's a bunker. No. That's actually another video store called Video Bunker. But hello, gentlemen. How are you?
What's up, buddy?
We should talk about this again. Yeah. So on the last episode, I had mentioned I had a little bit of an accident, and it wasn't because I was playing street hockey or I thwarted a mugger. I actually was doing domestic housework, and I fluffed out a duvet, as many people do, like the bed sheet. And we have a fucking fan above our bed, and it clipped one of the chains and snapped off and hit me in the fucking eye. Here it is. See how that shit fucking moves? That shit's got weight to it, dude. Yeah, it's going to be a keychain. Anyway, I digress. How is everybody doing?
What's up?
Good.
Very well.
Killer. So for 420, I don't even smoke anymore, but you know what? I used to heavily, and I kind of want to do a little video presentation of celebrating 420. So we're going to do stoner films, as you know. The first one we're going to get into is Grandma's Boy. Now, I don't know if anybody's seen this one. It's a really bad movie, but there's something enjoyable about it. There's good parties involved. Alan Covert, who he teamed up with Adam Sandler on a lot of these movies. Nick Swartzen is in it. Basically, this guy's a video tester, and he hangs out with his grandmas because he has to. He has to sleep there. And basically, if you're ever smoking weed, I don't know if anybody's partakes in this crowd here.
What is weed?
What exactly? Yeah. I'm in Georgia now, so it's totally illegal here. So, and I'm from LA, so I totally related when you were talking about locking the doors. I get it. I like chirped the fucking car like 17 times in the garage. Yeah. So if you're gonna smoke up, Grandma's Boy is pretty great. It's basically the quintessential stoner movie if you like video games. The end. Have a good night. On to the next one. I'm going to try to condense this so we can make the first shortest Danny McDermott show ever. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Usually we go about 17 hours, but so Dude, Where's My Car is exactly what you think it is. These are probably, God bless them, the dumbest of the crew of movies that I'm going to be presenting here. And they do a hell of a job. Ashton Kutcher, Sean William Scott. The last time I saw this movie was probably when it came out. But let me tell you, it was enjoyable, and there was a lot of Dude, Where's My Car? But if you want to revisit some like millennial shit, and you're smoking weed, that's the one. Hold on, that's the one.
It's funny.
I always have my camera cues down, and I'm wrong. And Kevin, God bless Kevin, can you teach me how to do this properly? Should we ET it? Should we ET it, bro? Let's ET it. Come on. Phone home.
Use the opposite hand and point the other way.
Yeah, but you see, you're better than me.
Oh, nice.
There you go.
That was also like when Sean William Scott was like hot as shit. Like,
oh yeah,
he was in every other movie. You know,
God bless him. Yeah,
yeah.
He's a talent. He's a talent.
He's great, dude. I love him. He's funny as hell, man. They were considering we were considering using him for my movie that we're hopefully going to be shooting in the fall at one point. But the thing is with movies, if you got a certain budget, you got to make sure you have a star at the level that'll make the money back for the investors. And he's just not there right now.
But he's got nostalgia factor, man. That guy's dope.
He's awesome. I love the guy. I love the guy.
I mean, I think the last thing he was in was Super Troopers 2 that I'm aware of. I'm sure he's worked since, but it was kind of like a nice surprise to see him. Like, oh,
dude,
shit.
He's so freaking funny, dude. I was just watching.
It's what he does. He's a fucking hilarious dude. But hopefully he just.
I mean, was it Role Models? Was he in Role Models too?
Yeah, with Paul Rudd. Yeah, it was fucking funny, dude. Yeah. So, Dude, Where's My Car? Fold laundry while you're watching it and smoking. The end. So the next one is How High, I believe. What do we got? All right. So as you can see, Method Man, Redman. This movie, the last time I saw it was probably 2005. I think it came out 2001. This one's fun. It's kind of dated in that it's a timestamp, and there's going to be some other movies that have the timestamp as well. But it's just fun. Like these cats, they smoke. I think they smoke their friends' ashes, and they get smart or something like that.
That's right.
Yeah, and they go to Harvard. But like Method Man is already kind of like a independent chemist or whatever, and he wants to kind of open his own growing lab or whatever. But it's just a fun flick. So if you're gonna smoke up, that's the one. Oh, I got my camera cues down. Yeah, that's the one.
There you go.
You know what? I almost want to say, I think we interviewed him for the Death Challenge, which I interviewed both you guys for, right?
Who?
Ty and Bob. You remember the Death Challenge?
Death Challenge. I thought you were talking about you interviewed Method Man. So
no, I think we did for. There was a guy who was going to jump from the stratosphere, and
oh man.
Yeah,
that's not cool, man. I went on that ride that goes down and shit. Not a fan.
No.
Ty, didn't I interview you for that?
I don't think so. I would have remembered.
Oh shit! I can't believe that.
You didn't interview me either, Danny.
Oh man!
As usual.
I'll tell you guys about it later. But
this movie is funny. I don't know if you guys are fans of the versus things where the artists do the versus battles and stuff. So last night for 420, Redman and Method Man did a versus. And when I tell you it was the best one, because they put on a concert.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
Oh, dude, And
who else is involved? But I mean, come on.
Oh, dude, plus the charisma between these two and the chemistry. That's why that movie worked, because they tried to make a part 2, by the way, and it was trash.
Yeah, and the funny thing is those cats they weren't even like asked about it. They just kind of like the studio went their direction, another direction, without saying, "Hey, do you want to be in part of it?" I mean, they fucking created it. It's like I mean, apparently Method Man was just like, "Hey, it is what it is," which is like very diplomatic and cool. But like,
I think they should have had it because they had 2 other rappers in it, and when I tell you, sometimes you ever see a script so shitty, you look at it and you're like, you're inspired and angry at the same time.
Yeah, because you have to. Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned earlier. I was catching the show, and you mentioned like, and maybe I'm wrong. I don't know because I'm not a comic, but I'm a comedic writer, so there's that. But you wouldn't know it from this segment. But anyway, when you were talking about like the established comics or working comics that have done it for a while that are looking at today's comics. Right. It's kind of like God, I'm losing my train of thought here. It's kind of like fucking I was watching the GGN Snoop show. My friend's the director of it, and Snoop was commenting on like today's trap music. And, it was just hilarious to like watch him like somebody of that caliber chime in as to the latest music. But I think you're absolutely onto something, because I think there was a movie called Boiler Room. You ever see that movie Boiler Room?
Yeah.
It's pretty good with Giovanni Ribisi, and in the beginning I think he quotes B.I.G. and it's you're either slinging crack rock or you have a wicked jump shot. Nobody wants to work for it anymore. Yep. And that's what it is. Like, I want a Netflix show, as you were saying, 2 weeks after like doing open mic.
Yep.
Yeah.
No, that's so true.
Well, the thing is now that because there's so many platforms to get exposure, it used to be just the comedy clubs for us. And now you could just jump off your roof and have a TikTok you'll go viral. And then comedy clubs are like, oh, this guy's got 4 million followers. We'll put him on our stage.
Exactly.
It just waters down.
But 4 million followers for the wrong reason. Dare I say, I mean, who am I? I'm just a guy. It's just like something that happened to hit. Is it a flash in the pan, or is there talent there? Or is this person going to go the fucking distance? I mean, I don't know. I digress again. So how high?
Yeah, I think a lot of that talent's been doing it 2 weeks and has 3 hours.
Well, you know what?
Where's his envelope? Where's his notepad? Look, check
I did find a very talented woman on TikTok who is hilarious, and I'm trying to get her on the show. And I wouldn't do it normally, but she's incredibly hilarious. She's the only TikTok person I actually enjoy watching. And
I want to bust your balls on this, bro, because you sent them to me. She's great, by the way. I just think Danny has a crush on her. No big deal.
I do have a crush on her.
All right, there you go.
There it is.
Danny, you don't know her name?
No, but she's not. Look at. She's not.
I'm sorry to call you out, buddy.
Okay,
it's okay.
Hold on. She's not like a bikini dancing.
No. She's totally zany.
She's legitimately talented. She's legitimately funny. I'm going to get her on the show. I'm working on it. And I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to cut this piece and I'm going to send it to her to show we talked about her on the show already. But, dude, she's incredibly
Are you going to leave
fun.
in that you have a crush on her?
No. I got to cut that out.
It's in the segment. It's in the segment now.
It's already there. It's already
your next TikTok. Exactly. She's totally watching, bro. I told her to tune in
She's
tonight.
She's not watching.
No, I told her to tune in tonight. She's
making a viral video right now, Danny. She's not going to watch it.
Once she agrees,
she's jumping off the roof from somewhere.
As soon as she agrees to be on the show, you know what she gets? She gets a name. That's what she gets.
Yeah, I think honestly, I to be honest with you, I just really think she's fucking talented. I like watching her TikToks, and I don't normally like watching a lot of TikToks, but she makes me laugh, and she's freaking hilarious. So I want to get her on the show. So I'm.
That's how you feel. You're not wrong. It's cool.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway, let's move on.
Harold and Kumar.
Yes.
Check it out. The end. No, this movie's badass. Basically, they just want to go to White Castle and they smoke a lot of weed and they go like on a lot of misadventures. And it's funny because like, God, when did this movie come out? What was it? 2006 even? They just like took on a bunch of stereotypes, which was awesome. Because it's just like all the stuff we heard growing up, stereotypes in terms of jokes. So for them to like kind of take it, put their spin on it, throw it back was pretty sweet. and it totally holds up. And I got to say, the second one's pretty rad, but the third one, which we don't have a graphic for, Harold and Kumar, a very Harold and Kumar Christmas, is totally fucking bonkers. Just a heads up for anybody. Yeah, it's enjoyable, I think. Yeah. The third one was awesome.
And what they did to Neil Patrick Harris, I thought
you just took it from me, but you're totally right, 100%. Neil Patrick Harris,
hysterical.
Yeah,
hysterical. The Christmas, I just watched the Christmas one.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredibly funny.
Yeah,
I've only seen the first one. This one.
Yeah, and it was totally fun. Just like it's exactly what they marketed. Like, hey, this is what we're trying to do.
Have you ever? Who's had White Castle?
Oh, I have. I lived in Michigan for a year.
Yeah. Oh, so you know.
Yeah. No, I lived on it for a year,
bro. When I tell you, whenever I go back home, it is one of the. If I'm ever thinking about a diet, all diets are off when I go back to Chicago. I got to get White Castles. I have to.
Nice. Yeah, I got to the point where I was putting tartar sauce on it. So it's pretty good, kind of. I would say the trick to White Castles is you got to eat them within the first 5 to 10 minutes. Anything after that, you're taking a chance. Oh, trippy. Yeah, fair enough. But they didn't last probably more than that.
Yeah,
I got those sliders down fast. But I had to mix it up because I would eat it a lot. So that's why I got the tartar sauce came involved.
Dude, you eat 3 of those, you got pancreatic cancer.
Hilarious.
Well, fuck. Have a good night, guys. I'm fucked.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, moving on. Because, we want to keep this rolling. This is fucking one of the dopest, but timestamp films. Here we go. Half Baked.
I knew it.
Yeah. This was an interesting one. I think Chappelle and Jim Brewer were on a show called Buddies. That's how they knew each other. And I guess they were independently working on in stoner comedies. And Chappelle had happened to finish his first. And basically, Jim Brewer asked to join his. And it was before Chappelle Show. So it was written by Neil Brennan and Dave Chappelle, Half Baked was. And the movie's fucking awesome. Basically, their friend, everyone's seen this movie. I mean, I'm just saying this for any few viewers or Danny's TikTok crush that happens to be watching. Okay. Is it Harlan Williams? Yeah, Harlan Williams.
Yeah.
He kills a horse, a diabetic horse, and they got to raise like $1 million to get him out of fucking prison or some shit. And it's just a series of comic misadventures. Totally holds up. The end.
Sag it on the couch.
There you go.
Oh, bro. It's such a, and I think it's still. I know you say it's timestamp, but it still holds up. Like you can watch it, and when he breaks down the different kind of stoners, that's still one of my favorite scenes.
Bodega. Yeah.
And it was like when you said and Clarence Clarence Williams. The villain, I can't think of his name in it.
Wasn't he? He was the heavy, right?
Samson Simpson.
Yes. He was also in Tales from the Hood.
That's right. Yeah. When he says, "I'm from the beach."
Boy. Yeah. It was so fucking good. So good. And that's what's fun about this film is kind of the sketches. And they're all basic, bare bones sketches. If you really break it down, Dave Chappelle on a date. He doesn't have a lot of money. It's like fucking amazing.
Oh, with the little ticker and how.
Yeah. Throughout the blind guy. Oh, she wants a double scoop of ice cream. He's like, so fucking great. Dude, check it out. So my dad and I saw this in the theater, and my dad now is 84, pushing 85. God bless him. Okay, so whenever it came out, he was kind of an old guy. And he and I, at the scene because Dave Chappelle plays a janitor, I believe, at a medicinal marijuana lab or some shit or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
And when he signs out for the weed and he starts like he starts coming basically on the wall, my dad and I were in tears. Okay. And I looked over to my dad. I'm like a 20-year-old dude or whatever the fuck, maybe even younger. I looked at my dad. My dad has tears in his eyes of Dave Chappelle signing out fucking a brick of weed, dropping a load. It was a fucking great experience for me. I was like, holy shit. We bonded.
That's both touching and disturbing.
No, but that scene is so fucking hilarious, dude. I mean, and talk about cinema. He really sold that. Anyway, moving forward. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Come on now.
Yes.
One of my favorites.
Classic.
hailed as one of the best high school comedies, but it's also a touch of drama because it's a
Phoebe
feeling
Cates.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Phoebe Cates.
Yeah.
You know, that was like a coming of age film for a lot of us when we were like super young, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw this. I was a little younger when this came out, not to whatever the fuck, but yeah, I saw this probably when I was about 9, and I didn't appreciate it until I was about 13, 14, so on and so forth. And I watch this every year, at least twice. And if I don't watch it, like, usually I watch it while I'm working, but I'll like appreciate scenes and stuff. I'm like, fuck, I'm not working. But Cameron,
I love how they have Sean Penn on the cover, and he was only in like 3 scenes.
He's in the movie. He's not.
His scenes are so memorable, though.
When they are.
Ordering the pizza, the guy comes.
Yeah.
But he visits his house. Mr. Hand visits his house. Like he had a story arc. You know,
he orders the pizza in class.
Yeah,
and Taylor Negron delivered it.
Yeah, and the teacher takes it, and the teacher takes it, and he just looks at him. He goes, "You dick."
He pulled the fuck out of that. I was like, damn, he's really like. I think they took his pizza and they just happened to roll B-roll and he didn't know. Like he was pissed. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's just the way it.
Great movie.
It's fantastic. Apparently, Cameron Crowe, literally, and everybody may know the story, but he like checked himself into high school after he had graduated high school, and he was a writer. And he basically, for 6 months, from what I understand, kind of just stayed in class, back at the class, and observed. And he wrote the book Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Cameron Crowe, the director of Say Anything and Almost Famous and Vanilla Sky and so on and so forth. The remake, of course.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and Amy Heckerling directed it, I believe. And is it Amy Heckerling? Is it Penelope? No, it's Amy Heckerling. Yes, I'm dating myself.
What did that say about the school system that they didn't notice that it was a kid there that didn't really go to the school?
Well, I think it's just because he was like 19 or 20, and like he was able to like slip in,
but not turn in any assignments.
That's a good question. Right. We should get him on the show and be like, how much work did you put in? Did you have a team doing the work for you?
Like, I am just here to write a movie. I'm not here for a science project.
He just failed out. That's why he was there for 6 months. They're like, whatever happened to that one guy? You ever seen the movie Summer School? Seen the movie Summer School? Yeah. Remember that one guy who uses the bathroom for the whole summer and he comes back and is like, here's the fucking key. He's like, and he aces the test. Aces the fucking test. Anyway. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Great fucking movie. In terms of a stoner comedy, obviously Spicoli is the stoner roots of it, but it's on the list. Moving forward. We're almost wrapping up, gentlemen. I know you're hanging on to know what the last few are. God bless. But Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
Never saw
Dazed and Confused.
I've never seen it.
Oh, check it out, man. It's worth your while. Yeah, it's a slice of life.
Oh, my God. Wait a minute. You haven't seen it?
No.
That movie's
I never
sick.
saw it.
Dude, that movie's sick.
All right, don't spoil it.
Who's in it?
Matthew
All
McConaughey.
right, I hesitate to say it, but Ben Affleck.
Well, before they were who they are.
Oh, wait.
No.
Is this the
Go to the next poster, please.
Matthew McConaughey.
Is this the one where Matthew McConaughey says the older they get,
yes.
The older he gets, the younger. Yeah. They stay the same age.
Ian, my podcast partner, quotes that a lot. So yeah, that's how I get the reference now.
Nice. Yeah, it's basically a slice of life. Director Richard Linklater did it. It's a Texas film, and it's a slice of life of the 70s of like
incredible.
One day and night. And it's rad. I think it came out in 93. I remember we super smoked up before we saw it. I probably saw it 4 times in the theater. And it was awesome. And I watched it probably a year ago, and it totally holds up. Yeah, I mean, this is an era film, so like you already know what you're getting, So
it's phenomenal. It's so well done.
It's very well done, as a matter of fact. So
like,
Dazed and Confused, check it out.
Yeah, that isn't like a old movie that was bad. That was actually, and everybody was good in it. Ben Affleck was fantastic in it. Everybody was good in it. It was just a great movie.
Yeah, no, it's fucking rad. It is. So the end. Check it out, dude. The next one's fucking incredible, dude. Up in Smoke is great.
Great.
Yeah, it's basically a bunch of sketches of some of their, the shit that they did. Not necessarily like to the T, but before, because they sold like 10 million albums and shit before. But yeah, Cheech and Chong. I was actually revisiting this a couple nights ago. Last time I saw it was probably 4 or 5 years ago. But I mean, I busted up laughing like hardcore, almost consistently for the first hour, and then it gets kind of like, you know, plotty and this and this and that.
Those guys were one of the great original, like, I mean, comedy duos, you know, back in
so good. So
there were
good.
not many guys that had such a great synergy together, and those guys were just so good.
Yeah. And
I remember I was on the bus as a kid, and we would play the audio of when they do you guys remember the thing where they did this bit where he's like, knock, 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 knock. Yeah. He goes, is Dave there? He goes, who? He goes, Dave. He goes, Dave's not here. Knock, 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 knock. Who's that? It's Dave. Dave? Yeah, Dave's not here. It went on it was just the stupidest thing.
They would just laugh.
The miscommunication for like freaking, because they were stoned, was so hysterical. And we'd be on the bus, and we're little kids, and we're listening to this on the bus. We're laughing all the way to school. It was amazing.
Hey, is this the one where he meets him on the side of the road?
Yep.
And he says, "Hey, this is, you want to smoke a joint?" And then he's
like, that's a toothpick. Yeah. And then he comes out with this fucking blunt of blunts.
Oh, wow.
But initially, because he tries to pick up a couple chicks at a bus stop, and then he looks at his side mirror and he sees like fucking Chong with like titties, right? Who's like trying to hustle down a ride, and but he doesn't realize he's a dude until he jumps in. He's like, God damn it! And that's really like, I mean, and then of course, what happens? Oh yeah, I think Cheech takes a bunch of fucking pills to mellow out, and it's just like fucking most acid Chong has ever seen anybody take. Oh, it's just so funny, dude. And just to watch them just do their thing was great. So I don't know about the next sequel of theirs, God bless, but you know, hit and miss, right? I mean, there's moments beyond in their movies. So, but at the end of the day, Up in Smoke's totally on the list. Let's move. Let's actually close it out. Before we close it out with Friday, let me just say I've seen this movie probably 200 times, and if I'm blessed, I'll see it 200 more. Boom. I already spoiled it. Friday, here we go. This movie is fucking the best. I understand that it was well received across the board, but I understand that they were nominating this for a Razzie Award for 1995, which I found fucking insane. But I understand that it was Cube and DJ Pooh who were just saying like there's not any hood movies that represent well. And they're like, they just started fucking writing it about just their shit. Like the kid who was, you know, kicking over the trash cans was a real thing, but they were never able to fucking catch him. So that's why they were able to like finish it in the film. So it was kind of like therapeutical. Yeah. But the movie's just badass. Bernie Mac. I mean, John Witherspoon. I actually saw him live once in Dallas. It was fucking rad. God rest his soul.
Nice dude too.
Sorry?
He's a really nice dude too.
Oh, nice. Right. Yeah, I imagine. Really and nice then, it's just a hell of a fucking movie. And what do you got?
And I always say, like, you take life lessons from some of these people, because Ice Cube, when he wrote this, they asked him, you know, like, hey, what made you think that a rapper could write a movie? And I always think about this when it comes to trying to finish scripts and do stuff like that. He says, if you can write a song, you can write a script. Because he says there's a beginning, middle, and an end to a song. Yeah. Just like there's a beginning, middle, end to a script. And look at this dude's career.
Oh, yeah.
Look, it's Ice Cube is one of those people that he was able to transition through a lot of different things, because you get that this dude came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
NWA. Still relevant today, you know.
Well, think about
it. I met him in New York City when I was working for Coach Handbags. And for some reason, celebrities would come into that building. I'm not sure. I met Zach who played Shazam, and a guy from Lost. I'm not sure why they were in there. Bloomberg was even there once, but he was a genuine nice guy.
Yeah, well, like you were saying, I mean, like and this is not a diss at all, but like from NWA to Are We There Yet? I mean, that's fucking range.
Right?
Okay?
Exactly.
And
Triple X or whatever he was in the Triple X.
Oh, yeah, the sequel, State of Union.
Yeah.
Which I was very disappointed because I thought it was porn.
Hilarious.
That's good. But I will say just
Ice Loop.
He did write No Vaseline.
That's true. Yes.
But I will say though,
greatest diss songs in history.
Ether's my favorite, but yeah, No Vaseline is a strong one.
That's fair. That's fair. That's a fair one. Yeah.
I understand though. Cube had to convince the studio, which is, I mean, I get it. I don't dig it, but like, because they're like, you're a hardcore rapper, like you can't do comedy. Because that's the thing, and that's what pisses me off is people get pigeonholed, or if they get followers or fans, they're branded as this and that's that. Well, like I would love to get to that level. I mean, who wouldn't? I'm sure obviously you've had massive, successes here and there, gentlemen, but you have other interests and you want to be free to explore that. So when like the Moneybags individual or studio says you can't do this, you can't do that, I mean, that's fucking garbage. So explore away.
I don't put a lot of stock in those types of people that think that way now, because for him, if he would have taken, it's almost like the same thing with Sylvester Stallone in the story of Rocky.
Yeah, 100%.
Like he wrote the script, they wanted to give him like 50 grand for it, and it's like, here, 50 grand, take the script, and we'll take the script. And he's like, well, I want to be in it. And he could have easily just said, okay, sure.
Yeah.
$50,000. Exactly. I mean, $50,000 is probably a big deal.
No, dude, they wanted to give him a lot more.
But still, it was a payout is his point.
They wanted to give Stallone like 300,000, I think, at first. But then
that's still cheap in relative.
Yeah, his point is what we would have lost.
What happened was the more he resisted and the more he said he wanted to be in it, the lower the price went. Yeah. And so they lowered the point. They lowered 50,000, I think, was the final. And what happened? He had sold his dog. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone has sold his dog to this fucking guy for a small amount of money.
Get the dog back.
And when they gave him the 50,000 instead of the 300,000, if he hadn't been in it, he used most of that money to buy his dog back because the guy was a dick.
But they also lowered the budget because he was in it. Yeah. And you know what? I think at the end of the day, that made it more gritty, and they were able to be creative. So yeah.
But that's why I say, like with Cube, and you're absolutely right when they come in and they say, well, we don't think that you can do this. A lot of people, like even with comedy, as a comedian, I find it easier for me to read and audition for dramatic scripts. That's me personally, because if you give me a script and it's funny and it's supposed to be funny, as a comedian, I'm gonna look at it like, is it that funny, or is it this? Or I'm gonna pick at it more because I'm thinking of the comedy. But you give me a script where I just got to be angry. I got you. Sure,
dude. I did dramatic theater for the first 1987 to 92. I was doing almost all dramatic theater before I was dabbling in comedy, but I didn't, I love drama, man. I mean, God, there's nothing like drama on the stage. When you got a gift, that's when I fell in love with acting, is when I did Death of a Salesman, and 300 people, parents weekend, parents and kids crying when I'm on the floor sobbing, tears, come on, yeah, it's what we love. We're fucking artists,
We are.
So,
well, I will say, I will wrap it up with a little reefer madness. This is basically saying, don't smoke weed. Do not. Don't do it. Do it if you want. The end.
Cult classic.
Yeah. Thanks all I got, Danny.
All right, guys. If you guys want to hang out for the after party, that's fine. People who are watching, please look at the bottom here. We got. We need support. We're just doing this for the love of it. But anchor.fm/the Danny McDermott Show /support. If you guys can support, we would appreciate it. We're still going to do it because we love what we're doing. And I love my friends and my guests that I bring on the show. So thank you guys so much for watching.
Can I
Tell your
give
friends.
a special shout out? Hey man, by the way, your poster in the back there, critical condition. Richard Pryor, super props, bro. Super
nice.
props.
Yeah, it's a standee. It's like a 3-dimensional like standee. Yeah.
Guys, hang out for the after party. Everybody else, thank you guys so much. Let's run those credits. Tell your friends.
Nope.